Anyone who's been paying attention to the real estate market, even just peripherally, knows that the last 5 years have been a roller coaster of activity. From the unexpectedly crazy boom in activity during the pandemic to the sudden screeching of the brakes back in 2022 when interest rates started to rise, we've seen a ton of ups and downs. But which parts of the Triangle region of North Carolina have shown the most resiliency during this time? Let's check out the top 6 cities and towns that have not only resisted the slowdown, but actually boomed in the last 5 years. My name is Matt Martin, and I'm a realtor in the Raleigh area of North Carolina. I've helped tons of clients relocate to the Triangle region, including into some of these suburbs we'll see today. And if you're looking to do the same, I'd love to help you too. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe right down below. So, how do I define resiliency here? Well, I looked at all closed single-family home sales across our entire region in 2019 versus 2023, and they've dropped a whopping 18% from 44,000 closed sales in 19 to about 36,000 last year. This has mainly been driven by the rise in interest rates, which has not only caused many buyers to remain on the sidelines, but has also made many sellers stay put in their homes, unwilling to let go of their 2% and 3% mortgage rates. But while the region has dropped 18% overall, there are certain cities and towns where the closed sales have stayed steady and in some cases even grown between 2019 and 2023. And those are the ones I've deemed most resilient for purposes of this video. First up, we have Wendell, which is a booming community located just about 15 to 20 minutes east of downtown Raleigh. As compared to the overall regional drop in sales of 18%, Wendell's single-family home sales dropped only 4% from 2019 to 2023. At the same time, median home prices have increased about 55% to $400,000, which is higher than the overall region's increase of about 45% during the same period. This is driven by the development of the massive Wendell Falls community, which will eventually feature 3,000 to 4,000 homes, multiple restaurants, miles of trails, its own medical facilities, shopping, and more. Wendell Falls is an awesome option for those looking to have easy access to Raleigh at a fraction of the price, and historic downtown Wendell is really cute. Next up, we have Fuquay Varina, which is always a fun one for newbies to learn how to say correctly. Fuquay Varina has been incredibly popular in the last 5 years, and that's evidenced by the fact that closed sales actually grew 3% between 2019 and 2023, from 1,400 closed sales to nearly 1,440. With that growth has also come an increase in median home prices by 59%, up to $476,000, which you're gonna see as a trend amongst all these fast-growing, resilient communities. Fuquay Varina used to be 2 separate cities, Fuquay Springs and Varina, that merged in the 1960s, which means there are actually 2 separate downtowns, but they're only about a mile apart from each other on North Main Street. And they're both incredibly charming, with great restaurants, coffee shops, breweries, and shopping. Fuquay Varina is about a 30-minute drive from downtown Raleigh, and its explosive growth over the past few years, it's actually the second fastest growing town in all of North Carolina, has mainly been due to its historically lower pricing and the fact that the I-540 Outer Beltline expansion will be opening soon, which will greatly improve connectivity to the rest of the Triangle, including the airport and Research Triangle Park. If you have any questions about the I-540 expansion project, leave me a comment down below and I'll be happy to expand on it. Next up, we have Zebulon, which is the easternmost city on the list and is on the easternmost edge of Wake County, but it's still only about a 25 to 30-minute drive from downtown Raleigh. That said, because it's so far east, it's not the best option for those who work in Research Triangle Park or Durham. Zebulon is pretty tiny with a population of only about 8,000 people, but that represents a whopping 34% increase in population since 2019, so it's growing quickly. That growth has led Zebulon's closed home sales to go up about 3% between 2019 and 2023, from 497 to 510. And while that may not seem like a big difference, It's significant when you take into consideration that the overall region sales have dropped 18%. And of course, that demand has driven median home prices up in Zebulon, but not as bad as some of the others on this list. Here, they have gone up about 50% to $360,000, which is pretty much in line with the region at large. If you're looking for a small town feel with super friendly people and bigger city access, this could be a great option for you. The public schools are highly rated, receiving an A on niche.com, and there are multiple great parks. And while the downtown is cute with its own bourbon distillery, there aren't a ton of big box options here, but you will find those further west in Wendell, Knightdale, or of course, Raleigh. Working our way up the list of the Triangle's most resilient cities and towns, we have the unincorporated community of New Hill, which is located about 25 to 30 minutes southwest of downtown Raleigh and is about a 20 to 25 minute drive from RTP and 30 to 35 minutes from downtown Durham. New Hill's closed sales have increased 8% since 2019, which is mainly driven by new communities that have been popping up recently as the Triangle continues to expand its borders outwards. No surprise then, the average home sold in New Hill was built in 2020, which explains the high average median sales price of $672,000. That said, this is still a pretty rural part of the Triangle, but it is conveniently located just south of I-540, which is undergoing a massive expansion right now, so access will be greatly improved later in 2024. It's also not far from Jordan Lake, which allows motorized boats and provides a great respite from the summertime heat. Just 2 more cities to go. And next up, we have Pittsboro, which is the westernmost community on the list, located just west of Jordan Lake, about 35 minutes from RTP and RDU, and 40 minutes from downtown Durham and downtown Raleigh. It's known for its historic downtown, large lots, and more woodsy rural feel, and its abundance of land has made it a popular spot for the ever-expanding Triangle population. Because of that, Pittsboro's single-family home sales increased 13% in the last few years, from 372 in 2019 to 422 in 2023, accompanied by a whopping 84% increase in median home prices, up to $700,000. The name Pittsboro may sound familiar to you if you've watched my other videos, as it's where Disney just announced it will be opening its new Story Living by Disney community of Asteria. You can check out the video here for more details. If you're looking for a retreat amongst the trees with lots of property of your own, Pittsboro may be just right for you, but you'll also find newer subdivisions sprinkled about. And finally, we have the tiny 3 square mile town of Angier, which is the southernmost community on this list. It's located about 21 miles south of downtown Raleigh, and while it's currently not the most convenient location for those commuting to Research Triangle Park for work, it's going to benefit tremendously from the opening of the I-540 expansion later in 2024. This will dramatically reduce drive times to the airport, Durham, and RTP, all of which explain why the area has seen such tremendous growth. Single-family home sales have increased a whopping 42% from 2019 to 2023. Remember, the region at large dropped 18%, so this is a delta of 60 points. And median home prices have increased about 61% to $359,000. Angier is known as the town of crepe myrtles, which is my absolute favorite tree in the Carolinas, and it hosts the annual Crepe Myrtle Festival every year, which draws about 20,000 visitors to the community. This will have a more rural feel, but its affordability has driven a ton of growth. So those are the 6 fastest growing and most resilient communities in the Triangle region of North Carolina. If you currently live in any of these cities, leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear your pros and cons. And if you're ready to kick off your home search in the Triangle region, be it in one of these 6 communities or otherwise, I'd love to chat. You can find all my contact information below.